To all of you. Uh, this is first. I like to welcome our executive director, digital transformation. Ved Prakash is already connected with us, and also I like to welcome all the executive director who are present in this Unnation. That is a online knowledge bite session for mentor mentee. And also, I like to welcome the Dibya ma'am. We requested her to take this session on this cyber hygiene and security, and she agreed. Immediately, she agreed. So, really, it's a great pleasure for all of us that we'll get a very valuable and rich input on cyber hygiene and the security from Dibya ma'am. And also, I like to thank and also welcome for joining in this Unnation, which is a third online knowledge bite session. Already, you must be aware of that first knowledge bite session we have conducted on Chat GPT, and then second online knowledge bite session we have conducted on social media. And and we got a huge response. More than 100 CGMs and EDs were connected in this online knowledge bite session. And today also we are finding near about 43 45 persons already joined in the third online knowledge bite session. Basically, basic purpose of this having this knowledge bite session for mentor and mentee, and is to update the mentor and as well as the mentees on the emerging issues. It can be a emerging technology, it can be a different emerging issues also, because we need to update ourselves to stay tuned as per the organizational need. So from that front, we need to update ourselves, and this is the right platform we are getting to update ourselves. So that is the thing. And another purpose of this conducting this knowledge bite session is to provide a trigger. Basically, it will provide a trigger to think on a particular emerging issues, okay, or emerging technology. So this we can take the things, take this issue forward for our regular interaction with our mentees. So mentor can will get the benefit, as well as the mentees who are very senior people, CGMs and EDs. They will also get benefit from this, and they can update their knowledge, and they can take this thing forward for their regular day-to-day interaction. And we are expecting near about, maybe after 15 days at least we need to have, that means in a month at least two interaction we are expecting to have in this reverse mentoring process. And I request all the mentor who are at the junior level people. I understand in the works area, especially the mentees who are at the senior level, they are very very busy, and to get time from them, and then taking the reverse mentoring process forward, it's a real challenge for the young mentee. But nevertheless, we need to go for it, and that is the also the requirement of the organization. So we have to take the reverse mentoring process forward. So, and another information just I like to share with you. Already you are aware of all these recording of the this knowledge bite session. It is also available in our e-weekend under YouTube at the rate Learning MTI. So it is available. So the your colleague, if any of the mentor or mentee, if he or she has missed any particular online knowledge bite session, he or she can hear it. After watching the video, which we will be uploading in YouTube at the rate Learning MTI. So with this, once again, I welcome all of you. And the Chandanath is a person who is basically driving this reverse mentoring process, both at MTI front as well as at the plant level. Next week we will be conducting a program for mentee as well as for the mentor. We have kept the name as Ignite at Vilai. So, so we are expecting that same for developing the mentor. We will be conducting at the different plant location. So BSP is on lead. BSP has taken the first drive to conduct the program at Vilai. So next week we'll be conducting that. And already we have developed at MTI, we have developed resource person for conducting the this thing reverse mentoring excellence program at plant location. So with this small information, once again I welcome all of you in this knowledge bite session, third knowledge bite session, and wish you a very happy learning for the time to come. Thank you very much. Over to Chandra.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of encouragement, and it's always great pleasure to have the support in successfully driving it. So, before we start this session, just for the information of the house, we have had on Chat GPT and social media, and this is the third one on cyber hygiene. So, before we start, I am posting a small quick poll on the screen. Are you excited to learn about cyber hygiene today? So, just a yes and no, and then that will get the ball rolling, and oh, that's wonderful. Everybody is excited. So we are getting 100% response that yes, everyone is excited. Fantastic. So you must be seeing a poll on your screen. You can press yes or no, and then we can, take an encouragement from this polling, and then we'll delve into our session. Fantastic. Great. So let me just publish the poll result and then we'll start our session. Fantastic. So let me welcome Ms. Divya ma'am to kind of take over the session. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Chandra. Thank you, Atanuji. Let's begin the session, Chandra. You can start the presentation. Yeah, it's visible. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, a very good afternoon to everybody. It's a wonderful initiative taken by MTI, and cyber hygiene is something that's the in thing today, with all of us constantly being on the internet, whether it's from our phone or it's from our laptops. We are forever browsing, we are making financial transactions, and this is a very relevant topic in today's time. So, to start with, we will just do a small differentiation between what is cyber security and what is cyber hygiene, because we keep hearing about both of them. Cyber hygiene is just a small part of cyber security. The bigger umbrella is cyber security, and cyber hygiene comes under that. And next slide, Chandra. Now, cyber hygiene is something that needs to be done at an individual level on a day to day basis. Just like when we talk about good health, there are a number of things we do on a day to day basis to take care of the good health. It could be washing our hands, it could be brushing regularly, it could be bathing on a daily basis, changing clothes, very small things, but they go ahead and take care of our health. Similarly, when we talk about cyber security, cyber hygiene becomes a must, where an individual has to do it on a daily basis. You could be an individual, you could be working from your home environment, from your work environment. And in your work environment, your IT department will also be following certain cyber hygiene practices to ensure that the working environment is safe and we can work safely in that. So in case everybody wants, they can just go through this slide. We've put down few present definitions here. To be noted here that it has to be done regularly, it needs to be done at an individual level, and it needs to be done both by the individual and the organization. Next slide. Okay, here we have put down some facts. What's important is the first point itself, that human error accounts for 95% of all the cyber breaches which happen, which means that if I'm working in an organization and the IT section of that organization has taken care of all securities, email is secure, PCs are secure, antivirus is in place, firewall is in place, everything is tightly secured. Even then, something can creep in and it becomes the responsibility of the individual, where you have to maintain certain practices, which we'll be talking about in the rest of these slides. And until and unless that is done, there could be a breach which can happen. So 95% of the hacking incidents and the breaches which happen because of this. That in spite of taking all security measures, we still might make a small mistake which can put us in danger as well as everybody else who's on that network. Their data, their digital information could also be in danger. So there are certain facts here. Every 39 seconds, there is a cyber attack. 75% of these cyber attacks start with an email. 5% of the companies are properly protected. After COVID 19, since work from home started happening, 300% increase in cyber attacks, and 86% of the breaches which happen are motivated financially. Next, Chandra. Now, the basic things that we'll be talking about today, which become a part of cyber hygiene, are all these topics, ranging from strong passwords to major compliances and regulations, how we should be browsing, what kind of precautions we should take when we are on a Wi Fi, what do we understand by patching and software updates, what is an antivirus, how do I use it on my PC or my mobile phone, do I need it on my mobile phone or not? These are the kind of topics we'll be talking about today as a part of cyber hygiene. Next. Yeah. Okay, starting with the first practice is about strong passwords, which we all are aware of. We all create passwords for all kind of access. It could be to do with our banks. It could be to do with email IDs. It could be do for anything we log in for a mutual fund. Everything today requires a password. Initially, when we had started with passwords, any kind of a password was enough, and we felt safe and protected. But today, passwords are getting hacked every day. Then the number of passwords we need to remember have also increased. So we need to have some kind of a trade-off. How difficult is going my password going to be so that I remember all the passwords? That's number one. Secondly, there is something called as a password manager which is available. It's best to purchase one, both for your phone or you can purchase it on your laptop or PC. And you can use the password manager. You can store all your passwords in the password manager and protect the password manager with a password. So you can have a password which is 12 digit long. It can have all these special characters. It can have digits. It can have upper and small case. People are known to even increase their password manager passwords to 20 digits long to keep it very, very secure. So, depending upon how important and critical is your data, you should decide as to whether you require a password manager or you want to codify your password. And we put down some questions at the bottom where you can just ask yourself that is my password strong enough? Am I changing my password frequently? Do I have the same password across many platforms? For my phone, do I need a biometric? For my laptop, should I have my fingerprint or not? And every time I enter a password from a site which gives me the option of a virtual keyboard, I should end up using the virtual keyboard. That should be my preferred option. Now, these are things that we are already aware of, but we may not be practicing. See, the idea of this session is that we should, whatever we don't know of, we learn about that, and next week practice it on a daily basis in our everyday life. Next, Chandra. Okay, next, coming to the point of multi-factor authentication. We have all been accessing NIC email. NIC email initially started off only as a password. Then we started getting a number also, which was available through the Kavach app. That second option of authentication becomes the multi-factor authentication. That means to access one particular platform, which is my email ID, we don't need only the password, we need some kind of an OTP also. There are certain sites which are extremely critical, like the mutual fund sites. They ask you to enter a password, then they send you an OTP on your SMS, and they also send you an OTP on your email. And you have to enter both the SMS OTP and the email OTP. So that's again a three-factor authentication or a multi-factor authentication. And this banks, if you notice, everybody has been doing internet banking. They have made it compulsory. All banks today require two-factor authentication. And more sites are coming up with that, where multiple authentication is required to make it safer. If there are any questions, we can take them simultaneously, or if you want, we can hold the questions till the end. But if it's interactive, I think it will be more interesting.
Yes. Is there any question from the participant side till now? I have one small question, ma'am. In the last slide that we talked about that whenever we have the option of using the virtual keyboard, we should give it a preference.
Correct.
Maybe can you just shed some light that what why we should give preference to virtual keyboard instead of our normal keyboard because it's
My
convenient to use.
understanding, okay. I understand. I assume that everybody is understanding what a virtual keyboard is, but we'll just spend a minute in understanding what is. So many times, when you go to a banking site, let's take the example of a banking site, you're shown a keyboard on the screen itself. Rather than using the keyboard which is in front of you, the physical keyboard, you choose the option that we are going to use the keyboard which is given on the screen. So to enter your password, you will click on those digits which are given on the screen. Now, a lot of times what happens is when we are working or browsing on the internet, sometimes we might end up clicking on some site which is not safe. So something called as a keylogger software gets downloaded on our PC, which starts trapping each key that we are pressing. And it sends this message to the hacker who has put the keylogger there. So if I'm entering the password, that also ends up going to the hacker. So by choosing the virtual keyboard, I have saved myself from sending the my password to the hacker who had lodged the keylogger on my PC or my laptop.
That makes sense. Yes.
Okay. So let's
Is
move
there any
ahead.
question from audience side? Any more questions? Okay. Maybe they are saving for the end, ma'am. We can go ahead.
They already know everything. This will make sure that everybody practices everything now. Next slide, Chandra. Okay, now this is something which all of us may not be doing. We might do it for our phones, but we may not be doing it in our office environment. Regular software updates. On your phone, so many times, whether it's an iPhone or an Android phone, you get the message saying a new update is available for the phone, and you end up downloading that update. Or it gets automatically downloaded in the night, whatever time you set it as. Now, the purpose of a new update for the phone or for your operating system, which exists on your laptop or on your desktop, which is the Windows operating system, is not only to get new features. The purpose of a new update is also to patch some vulnerabilities. Now, what do we understand by a vulnerability? Every time any software manufacturer makes a software, maybe it's the Android software, or it's the Windows software, or it is the iOS which we use in the iPhone, it is not necessary that it is completely safe. It might have certain vulnerabilities in it. One, two, they might think there are no vulnerabilities, but the hackers may find those, and they might start attacking those devices which on which these softwares are residing. So at this point of time, once the manufacturer gets to know that there is a vulnerability in the software, in the update, they patch all those vulnerabilities or they close those vulnerabilities. So every time we update our software, we are protecting ourselves by making sure now we have a patched software available with us. So are there any queries on this? So one thing I want to point out here is so many times when we are working on Windows, we get a message which says a fresh update is available. And because we don't want to waste that time, we just ignore it. So many times in our office environment, our IT department might come and say, okay, you need to update your Windows software, or we need to update the software on your PC. It could be an antivirus software, it could be the Windows software, and we just kind of leave it for the time being, thinking that it's going to be a waste of time. Please remember, it is not a waste of time because it is for your own protection that all softwares need to be of the latest version. Right? Okay, let's move on then. Antivirus, everybody understands. We use it in our home environment as well as on our office environment. Each and every device will have an antivirus, laptop or your desktops. People sometimes end up using antiviruses for their mobile phones also, and these need to be updated regularly. And an antivirus is a must It's not optional, it is critically a must for every. Please ensure that everybody has a. It will protect you from any virus which can come onto your PC. Next, Chandra. Email is something that we all use today. Nobody can survive without the email. And because everybody is using it and everybody is using it on a daily basis, sending, receiving mails, hackers have started targeting this particular platform as the most vulnerable form of attack. So we need to be very, very careful when we receive an email. Is it coming from a person that is known to us? Am I expecting this email? If it is not so, if you do not recognize the sender, kindly do not open the email, one. And two, definitely not download anything from that email. Definitely don't click on anything on that email because it could be any kind of a hacking mechanism for you. Think before you click is the first thing you need to remember every time you open your email. Do I need to open it or do I need to download anything from it? It should be from a known sender. It should be something that I'm expecting, especially when I'm downloading it. Phishing is also done through emails. We'll talk about it in the next slide.
Ma'am, one more question. Suppose I could view that it is a unintended email for me, but if I click it, is
Hmm.
it safe or unsafe? Suppose there is another link which I may not click, but just to open that email, whether it is safe or not. I
No,
know it
that
is.
should, sir, I understand what you're saying. You can open the email, but please don't click anything within the email. Because as of now we've not had an incident where just opening the email has downloaded something. It's always when we click on a link inside it or if there is an attachment with it, that's when the download starts. Just by opening it, it has not happened. But it's always avoidable. If I know it looks like a spam, I can straight away send it to my spam folder or simply delete it. Any other questions, please? Okay, Chandra, next slide, please. Okay, phishing, I think everybody understands, but we look at it because 90%, 91% of the cyber attacks are happening through phishing. This is the preferred method that all these criminals are using to create an attack on a PC, which finally sends off to all the entire network. What happens in a phishing incident is that the hacker is trying to attract you by giving you free gifts, by giving you monetary benefits, by giving you free coupons, and making you click on a particular link. So there could be somebody who's saying that click this particular link to get free coupons for a meal, something as small as that. Click this particular link to get a free TV, to get a free phone, to free. Please do not click on these. These are what is called as a phishing email. Now, phishing has various types. Phishing could be, I mean, we've heard of situations where there is a mail which is being sent by the chairman of a particular organization to all the employees saying that it is recommended to donate to this particular organization. Sale has decided to donate to this particular organization, or maybe some other has decided to donate. In that particular case, any hacker could have done this. That becomes a phishing email. Now, if this email was customized for few users, then it becomes spear phishing. If this email was sent only to the top management, then it becomes whale phishing. If it is sent through a WhatsApp message or it is sent through an SMS, then it is called as smishing. If comes with a voice message, then it becomes phishing. So everything is kind of phishing itself, where somebody is trying to attract you to click on a particular link so that they can take away something from you monetarily or take your personal information or just simply download a malware on your device. Any questions on this? Okay, let's go to the next one. I think Chandra, next we have a video. So this will, I think, wake us up also a little bit. And we can all, I think, after this talk about or put it in the chat as to what is it that we have learned from this video. Let's start, Chandra. Can everybody hear this?
No, madam, there is no voice.
No, no sound at
No,
all.
no
Chandra,
audio.
we are not able to hear.
No sound.
Nobody is able to hear the sound, is it?
Yes, no
No,
sound.
when we tested it was fine.
Okay, let me play it separately. Please confirm if the sound is coming now or not.
अरे वाह, नमन देख तेरी चाची ने क्या भेजा है, जल्दी आ। क्या हुआ?
Yeah, it is coming.
Sound is coming.
माँ ये सब स्कैम होता है, फ्रॉड होता है। कौन बांट रहा है इसे फ्री में फोन? एक तो ना आपकी उम्र के लोगों का मुझे बिल्कुल समझ में नहीं आता। पता है ये स्कैमर्स ना तभी आप लोगों को टारगेट करते हैं। अरे मैंने तो ऐसे ही पूछ लिया था। वैसे इतने बेवकूफ भी नहीं है। हाँ हाँ मेरी समझदार माँ, आजकल के टाइम पे ना थोड़ा अवेयर रहना जरूरी है, इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ। ठीक है ठीक है। अच्छा वो तूने मूवर्स एंड पैकर्स को बोल दिया है ना? ज्यादा टाइम नहीं है हमारे पास, पता भी नहीं चलेगा कब टाइम निकल जाएगा। 1 महीने में बैकलॉग शिफ्ट होना है। 1 महीना है मेरी माँ, मैं कर लूंगा बात। आप प्लीज चिल करो, तब तक आप ना एक काम करो, फ्री फोन्स देखो, मैं आता हूँ। ओके बाय। हेलो मीना जी नमस्ते, मैं राशन वाली दुकान से नरेश बोल रहा हूँ। नमस्ते नरेश जी, पर ये तो आपका नंबर नहीं है। मेरा पुराना फोन चोरी हो गया है। तो बहुत बुरा हुआ ये तो। की पेमेंट आप पुराने नंबर पर इस नंबर पर कर दीजिएगा और इस वाले नंबर को सेव कर दीजिएगा। ठीक है, मैं इस नंबर को सेव करके ना अभी पेमेंट कर दूँगी। ठीक है, नमस्ते नमस्ते। नमन तेरा दिन कैसा रहा आज? वही सेम बोरिंग। कोई नहीं, अब बेंगलोर शिफ्ट हो जाएंगे तो तुझे चेंज हो जाएगा। अरे माँ माहौल ही तो चेंज होगा, काम तो वही रहना है मेरा बोरिंग सा। ये तो है। आप बताओ आपने क्या किया आज पूरा दिन? आज मैंने बहुत सारी पैकिंग कर ली और वो जो हमारा किराने वाला है ना नरेश, हाँ उसका फोन आया था कि उसका फोन चोरी हो गया। फिर उसने मुझे अपना नया नंबर दिया और कहा कि उस नंबर पे मैं पेमेंट कर दूँ। तो मैंने ऑनलाइन पेमेंट कर दी और पता नहीं आज उसका लड़का अभी तक क्यों नहीं आया राशन लेकर। आप कैसे इतना समझाने के बाद भी बेवकूफ बन सकते हो? क्यों? आपको दिख नहीं रहा ये कितनी बनाई हुई कहानी है यार। आपने बिना अता पता पूछो से पैसे ट्रांसफर कर दिए, पैसा पेड़ पे उगता है क्या? अब मुझे ये थोड़ी पता था कि ऐसे भी हो सकता है, इसलिए ना, इसलिए आप लोगों के पास स्मार्टफोन्स होने नहीं चाहिए। गया है सामान? जी मैडम। वो मैंने नरेश जी को ऑनलाइन पेमेंट कर दिया था, उन्हें मिल गया ना? जी शुक्र है, पेमेंट क्लियर हो गई। बेटा हर चीज स्कैम नहीं होती। हाँ मतलब ठीक है। वैसे ना मैंने ये सारा फर्नीचर ऑनलाइन लिस्ट कर दिया है बेचने के लिए, वहाँ थोड़ा इजी हो जाता है बेचना। हाँ पर तू तो कहता है ना ऑनलाइन बहुत फ्रॉड्स होते हैं। अरे वो तो आपके लिए माम, मेरे लिए थोड़ी, मेरे साथ थोड़ी कोई फ्रॉड करेगा। ठीक है पर बेटा जी बहुत सस्ते में मत बेच देना। नहीं, मैंने तो ना सारा फर्नीचर फ्री में लिस्ट कर दिया। हेलो हेलो, नमन जी बात कर रहे हैं? हाँ जी। वो मैंने आपका ऑनलाइन फर्नीचर देखा था, मुझे तो काफी पसंद आया, तो उसी के बारे में बात करनी थी आपसे। हाँ हाँ सर, तो आज मैं घर पे हूँ, आप आज या कल में आके देख लीजिए। नहीं नहीं, आने वाने का रहने दीजिए, फोटो में सही लग रहा था मुझे, बस आप थोड़ा पैसों का देखिए। 60,000 है, अगर 50,000 में डन कर देते तो मैं आपको आधे पैसे अभी भेज देता। सर मैंने ना बहुत रीजनेबल प्राइस डाला हुआ है, मैं आपके लिए मैक्सिमम 55 कर सकता हूँ। चलिए एक काम करते हैं, 55 में डन करते हैं, इतना अच्छा फर्नीचर है ना, मैं अपने हाथ से जाने नहीं देना चाहता। ठीक है, जैसा आपको ठीक लगे, आप इसी नंबर पे कर दीजिए पेमेंट। मैं आपको एक काम करता हूँ, अपना आधार कार्ड वगैरह भेज देता हूँ ताकि आपको तसल्ली हो जाए। आधार कार्ड आपके पास एक रिक्वेस्ट आई हुई है। हाँ ये आ गया, बट इसकी हाँ हाँ, तो उस लिंक पर क्लिक कर दीजिए, आप उस लिंक पे क्लिक करेंगे और आपको सीधा बैंक में ट्रांसफर हो जाएगा पैसा। सर लिंक पे क्लिक मैं समझा नहीं, मतलब लिंक की क्या जरूरत है इसके लिए? अरे देखिए, आजकल ऐसा है ना, बैंक वालों ने ना सिक्योरिटी बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ा दी, तो थोड़ा सा देखना पड़ेगा ना। आप इतना परेशान मत होइए, मैं तो आपको आधार कार्ड भेज दिया, आप क्यों परेशान हैं? तो आपको तसल्ली हो जानी चाहिए, आप बस जल्दी से लिंक पर क्लिक कर दीजिए, क्योंकि बहुत ज्यादा टाइम होता नहीं, बस 160 सेकंड का ही टाइम होता है। 1 मिनट सर, सांस लीजिए, मैं देख रहा हूँ लिंक। कर दिया आपने ये? 1 मिनट ना। हेलो हेलो हेलो। नमन क्या बात है, आज ऑफिस नहीं जाना? यार मैं जाओ अभी, आप प्लीज, बाद में आता हूँ। सर उसका माँ मेरे को नहीं खाना प्लीज। तो क्या बात है? मैंने यार, आप खा लो। तूने आज लंच भी नहीं किया और अब तू रात का खाना भी मना कर रहा है, किस बात की टेंशन है? माँ काम का थोड़ा प्रेशर है। अब जो होना था वो तो हो गया, 27,000 रुपए ही गए हैं ना।
Okay, I have taken a pause here. Yes, Divya, ma'am, would you like to
Yeah.
continue that, or you want
Yes,
to?
I think I don't know how many of you got from the video what the video was trying to tell us. We'll just go over it briefly because I think there was a lag and sound was also not very clear. The video starts with the lady getting a link on her phone where she has the option to click on a link to get a free iPhone, where the son is telling her that you should not be clicking on this link. So that was one learning from this, where which was a smishing kind of a hacking technique, where the message came on the phone. It could be through an SMS or a WhatsApp message and all. The second learning was when the lady was ordering the ration, and the guy called her, her Russian person called her and said, "My phone number has changed. So kindly make the payment to the new phone number." Now, in this particular case, she did not get hacked, but this is a very common practice where you can get a call from anybody to whom you have been making regular Paytm or UPI payments or maybe bank transfers, and the person says, "My account number has changed," or "My email ID, this my Paytm number has changed," and you end up making a payment to that person. So this is again something about which we need to be careful. And the third option is when somebody is making you click on a link in a situation where it's like an emergency. The person will call you early morning, or the person will call you when you're in a meeting in office and say that, I'm ready to buy your furniture. You have put this particular advertisement. I'm ready to do this. Kindly click on this so that I can quickly make the payment to you. So these are the three learnings which specifically came out from this video. Please be very, very careful if you have advertised something and somebody is asking you click on a link and they're trying to push you to do it. The link is active only for 20 seconds, the link is active only for 1 minute. Please be very careful in those cases. Yeah, we can continue with the presentation, Chandra.
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Sandeep Rai, sir, please go ahead.
Madam, the person had called and told that my phone number has changed. If somebody calls us and says my phone number has changed and kindly pay to this number, and if we pay to that number, then what are the risks involved in this and how?
Sir, first and foremost, we'll need to be careful. Do we recognize that person? Now, in this particular case, it was a ration shop. Now, the lady happened to recognize her. Sometimes somebody's voice may match with somebody else's voice, and it is not the same person. Suppose somebody knows that you're purchasing ration from shop A. Now, that person can ape to be that shopkeeper and say that my number has changed and give you his own personal number. He may not be the ration seller. He's actually a hacker. He's actually a person who's trying to take away your money. So you end up making the payment to him and you never receive the ration. In this particular case, she did get it, but one should not be doing that. Till you go to the person's shop and ask him, has the number changed? And only then we should be making a payment.
Madam, I have another question in this.
Please, sir.
Matlab, somehow we end up paying payment to an unknown person,
Ji, sir.
whatever amount we have paid to him, is there any other risk also involved of my data being transferred to that person or something like that?
Sir, in this particular case, no, because it's a monetary transaction. You've lost your money only. But if we look at the third thing which happened in the video where the person clicked on a link. So that particular link was taking away money from his UPI or from his Paytm. And along with that, certain personal data could also be taken away from the phone. There's so many times on a phone under notes. We all have the notes option, the notes app available. We end up writing so many things in that. We put down some passwords also there. We might put down certain bank account details over there. So at that point, this is the reason that we try not to do that, because even that can be picked up from your phone.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, sir.
That's the first thing I'm going to do after this session. I'll remove all those things from my notes section.
Yes,
Most of us do that for the want of ease of access and other things.
convenience. Yes.
And also,
Well,
there was actually one more message that I got from the video. I was, in fact, I am sure everybody would agree that most of us would have thought that the lady would have been, cheated by the shopkeeper. But what happened was that a younger person who was more, conversed with the technology ultimately became the victim. So I could see that there was a psychological factor which came into play, wherein we have urged to clicking some links, wherein we know that at the back of our mind that yes, we should not do it. So it was visible from his reaction that he did not wanted to do it, but there was some psychological compulsion that he clicked and ultimately became a victim. So that might be another learning for us.
So, Madam, with Prakash
Oh,
here,
ma'am, I have a question.
I want to ask one question.
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Suppose we keep all data and our all accounts passwords in a secure folder in a mobile. Can
Yes,
that
sir.
can that be hacked by clicking any link or any
Sir,
fraud?
our phones can be hacked anytime. The phone service providers, whether it's Apple or it's Samsung or any other phone we are using, they give inbuilt protection in the phones. That's available. But just like the protection is getting more sophisticated, so is the hacking. So something that's not happened till now, it's not necessary, it
Yeah,
will not happen ever. We
yeah,
need to be careful,
hackers also becoming more and more innovative, keeping pace
more
with.
innovative. That's their main journey.
I have to add one thing here, sir.
Another question.
What you asked, sir, that is possible. Accessing some of the files on your phone, but very recently we have had that action of that we often root our smartphones. We jailbreak our smartphones, so that exposes our internal storages of the phone to outside world. So if we are not jailbreaking or rooting our phone, so that gives a layer of protection. But if we are jailbreaking or rooting our phone, so that exposes to access to those kind of I would say secure files also, so that makes us vulnerable.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. Am
Ji,
I
sir.
audible?
Ji, sir.
Actually, I have a question relating to this financial transactions. As we know, like all kind of transaction, be it like cab services or delivery services, or like any kind of financial transaction as well. we required to share an OTP for completing the transaction, even for a online delivery. So,
Yes.
and the hackers make it very obvious and very, since they know that it requires an OTP, they make it very convincing. Like their messages seem to be very convincing of being genuine. So, how do we difference while sharing an OTP? How do we know it's genuine or it's like a fraud?
The OTP you have to enter in a particular transaction. You should not be sharing it with anybody over the phone.
No,
OTPs are
ma'am, but it
never.
happens like for example, like I order stuff for my son on Fastcry or like Flipkart or on Amazon, and every delivery necessitates that we share an OTP either directly or via phone if we are not present at home. So they asked for they would like complete the delivery once we have shared the OTP. Otherwise, the delivery won't be completed. And though this has happened, this happens all the time, but the delivery is genuine, but it
Correct.
might so happen that we might get defrauded.
So there have been cases of defraud that I'm aware of where the delivery never happened. The person who came to deliver, he only took the material and he went away. And he said he had never delivered. So somebody has to be available who should accept that, open the packet and check. So if you're living in a society, if there's nobody at your place, then maybe the guard over there should take care of it. But in case your neighbor is accepting it, then your neighbor should open the packet, check it is a genuine transaction, and only then you should be sharing the password.
Yes, ma'am, that is all right. We might not get the parcel delivered, but it might so happen that it might lead to financial fraud. That's what I'm afraid. Like if sharing an OTP might initiate a financial transaction at our end, that would be like more catastrophic. How do we distinguish whether it's an delivery OTP or it might initiate a financial transaction at our end?
The financial transaction, we always enter the OTP on a platform. Only for delivery, we are sharing OTPs with the
Okay.
person who's come to deliver. But in case it is, let's say, at a website, so then we enter the OTP over there. We don't share it, we don't read it out to somebody.
I would also like to add another thing. Like, whenever we get this OTP, we know what transaction we are making. So there's a time limit for that OTP. That is for 60 seconds or maybe some, time. So whenever you're making some transaction, you have to enter that OTP within that time frame of. So you know what kind of transactions you are doing, and then you add that OTP. So then in that case, it is, it's a genuine thing.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
I don't know if you understood. I hope it's clear. Your question is
Yes, ma'am,
answered.
I can. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Okay,
Uh,
maybe.
is there any more questions from anybody? Okay. So I agree, ma'am. That video has woken up many participations.
Good. I'm glad.
So let me quickly share that presentation back. Okay.
The next thing is Wi-Fi, which we all use on a daily basis in our home and sometimes in office also. And even when we are outside, maybe sitting at a coffee shop which offers free Wi-Fi, or at the airport, railway station, everywhere. What's to be remembered is it's okay for browsing. Please do not download anything wherever the Wi-Fi is in a public place. Please don't download. Please don't do critical transactions on that Wi-Fi. At home, we need to set up unique passwords. We need to set up difficult passwords for our Wi-Fi so that nobody hacks into it. And while we are doing our transactions, they can pick up that information. When we get a new Wi-Fi set up in our house, whatever is the default username and password, please change that immediately. Wi-Fis are also a major source of hacking which is happening, especially the public Wi-Fis. We need to be aware and we need to be careful. So many times we go to the airport, we start browsing at the airport, and suddenly feel, Acha, I want to make one payment I had to do. And on that Wi-Fi itself, we end up doing the payment. That is completely avoidable. We should not be doing it. Any questions on this? Then we can
So
move ahead.
yeah, one ma'am, on the Wi-Fi, the public Wi-Fi that we use, does that information that we transmit using that Wi-Fi, does it expose us to any kind of interference, or like they can track what kind of data we are sending or what kind of information we are sending? So is it
See,
because we often trust big places like railway station, if it is giving us free Wi-Fi, that means it's safe to use. But how safe it is? Should we use it for all kind of this, or just for if we are using for browsing videos on YouTube or movies? So that is all right, but should avoid any personal informations like accessing email or banking sites, something like that.
absolutely right. Because if I am connected to a public Wi-Fi, then even the hacker is connected to that public Wi-Fi, and he has the means, he has the resources and the knowledge how to access vulnerable devices on that particular Wi-Fi. So if there are certain mobile devices, laptops which don't have the updates, they can easily break into those laptops and try and get information from them. But if I have a secure Wi-Fi in my office, there are limited number of people who have that password. If I have a secure Wi-Fi in my home environment, similarly there are limited number of people who have that password, and only my family is using that. That's why it becomes essential to change your password also regularly. Sometimes we share our Wi-Fi passwords at our residences with some guest who may have come over, but that guest might further share it with someone else. So therefore, every time you share your password, you should also change it again, and should be limited to the family members. Is the
Okay.
question answered, Chandra?
Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, let's move on. Browsing is something we all do every day regularly. First and foremost, the web browser that we are using should be updated. Otherwise, it will have inbuilt vulnerabilities in it. Every time there is a new update available for Chrome or whichever Edge, whichever browser you're using, kindly update that. Then each browser has certain privacy and security settings. We can go into that. If you open your window, on the right hand side, you see these three dots. So when you click on the three dots, within that you will see settings, privacy settings, security settings. You can go into that and do those settings. Then all sites which can be accessed will be accessed either with an HTTP or an HTTPS. Please remember the S should be there because that stands for secure. So if you open the SBI net banking site or the HDFC net banking site, you will notice that it starts with an HTTP or HTTPS. Even if the HTTPS is not available, you will notice a small lock over there. When you are browsing, that particular URL will have a lock next to it. That means this is a secure site. Secure site meaning that whatever information is traveling from your device, the laptop or the PC or the phone, to the bank is going to get encrypted on the way. It will be encrypted and then again decrypted at the bank. So it is difficult for hackers to be able to pick up that data, decrypt it, and then utilize it. So HTTPS is very, very essential. Then while browsing, please do not start downloading. There's so many times you're browsing something, there's an advertisement on the right hand side in a little box, and it says download this particular game or download this funny video, and we end up downloading it. Along with that, we have also downloaded some malware on our device. Then coming to cookies. Cookies, I'll just give a small explanation for others who may not be aware. Cookies are something which, when I'm browsing a particular website, these cookies start storing my information. So let's say I've gone to make a purchase and I enter my address, my email ID, and my phone number. And it says, do you want to save this information for next time? So I choose that option, yes. This automatically gets stored against that website name on my device in a cookie. So that next time when I go to that particular URL or to that particular link, that cookie will be picked up from my device and automatically my name and my phone number and email ID, my personal details will appear. Now, if this be the case, anytime your device gets hacked, These cookies can be picked up from your device and your personal details will be available to the hacker. So it is important that keep deleting you. You may have used it for your convenience, but keep deleting them in between. Keep scanning your device in between and say which are the cookies that we don't need. Keep removing those cookies from your devices, or maybe you could even remove all of them and create them again. Any questions on this?
I have one small question, ma'am, because I'm not able to control and asking a lot of questions. So,
Very good.
how good
Please.
it is? How safe? Yes, ma'am. How safe it is to save our passwords on the browser? Most often, whenever we are logging into any sites, the browser asks that save your password for the next time. So, how good of a practice it is to save it on the browser itself?
See, ideally, it is not a good practice. Every time I should be entering the password. Therefore, now we have those password managers which are available. I enter the master password for the password manager, and then from that I can choose that in case there was an online site, I can click on that, the password will get incorporated on that platform. That's one. Ideally, we should not be saving. But sometimes, for the sake of convenience, if I know I'm the only one using that particular device, we have personal laptops available, I might still save it only for those sites which are not critical. It could be a site where I'm making a purchase. You're buying some clothing from that site, you're buying certain other items, you're doing some vegetables shopping from that site where you have not entered your personal details. Please make sure your credit card details, your UPI details should not become a part of all these sites. So please don't save your passwords, but if it's a personal device and not a critical website, then you can save it. That's
Okay,
what's recommended.
okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. I have one question. Just now you said that we should not save the credit card data in the websites, but recently, whenever we are trying to save any credit card data, they are just popping information that the card information will be saved as per RBI standards and all those things. Recently, that things have started popping up. So, is there any risk in saving that data? Means when it is showing that this is as per RBI standard and all those things.
See, sir, what usually happens is that all these websites where we are making a purchase, they would want us to make a purchase very quickly without changing our mind. So many times, if you notice, if you are at Swiggy or maybe at Zomato, you don't even need to enter a OTP. For small amounts, it automatically deducts the money, and it says that it has been saved with RBI guidelines. RBI does has guidelines. These websites, they follow those guidelines. In spite of that, we have seen hacking incidents. So it is advised that we do not do that. We should not be saving our details on these websites. There's a lot of times, so I have seen this personally, that what people do is they might be maintaining two bank accounts. So in one bank account, I'll have a small nominal amount over there to do my monthly transactions, like maybe a 50,000, 1 lakh kind of, and rest everything is in a separate account. That separate account, which is holding the major chunk of the money, will be accessed only from the bank. People don't do internet banking transactions from there. And where you have the lesser amount only for that particular month, you end up doing your internet banking transactions from there.
Okay.
So if you set a small credit limit for your credit card, then maybe if you set it to 10,000, 15,000, 20,000, you're thinking this is only to be used for, ordering food or some amount of, and you can keep paying off that amount and then again it is reset to that limit that you have set. So these are certain small ways that we utilize to be able to save ourselves.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, next we have data backup. This I think we all understand that this is what we fall back on. We must back up our phones, we must back up our laptops. Everything should be backed up so that if something does happen, we can retrieve it from the backup. Training and awareness is what is going on right now. That MTI is helping us to be aware of what can go wrong. And therefore, once we are aware of it, we put it in our heads, then we will practice it also. Mobile devices are just like any other device, like a desktop or a PC. We just need to make sure that whatever we are doing on our laptops, we need to do it on our mobile phones also. What we are doing on desktops, we need to do on our mobile phones. We need to have certain security apps. And for mobile phones, now we have biometrics also available, where you can have your fingerprint or you can have your facial recognition built in as a password. One thing that we need to keep in mind is that for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi should be disabled in case we are in a public place, because otherwise anybody can get connected to a phone using a Bluetooth or a Wi-Fi connection. Kindly disable both of them. Next, Christian. Scanning is just scanning regularly. Look at your phone, go through it regularly. If you have downloaded some apps by mistake, please remove them. Similarly, from your laptops, if there are things lying in your download folder, you have downloaded certain software, please remove them. And please scan the antivirus software regularly to see if there is something which is silently sitting on your PC, which could not be trapped, and now it can be quarantined or it can be removed. Scanning becomes another security measure that we can take. This I've just added regarding e-waste. Every time we have all collected number of phones and devices in our houses. We buy one laptop, then we buy a second, then we buy a third, and we may not dispose of the first one. So it is good in case we dispose them off because we don't need them. All these kind of devices have some kind of radiation or the other that's coming out of them. Secondly, whenever we dispose of, please remove the batteries. Make sure that you have reset that particular device. Your laptop, etc., should be completely formatted. There should be no information available on that. Your mobile device has been reset. There is no personal information available on that. One way to give away these devices is that you can go to the original manufacturer. Suppose you have a Samsung phone, at their service centers, they have these little bins available. You can drop it there. If you want to gift it to somebody, then you wipe off everything and gift it. Or you can even give your device to a certified e-waste recycler. If you Google it at your location, you will get a list of these certified recyclers and you can give it to them. So they have certain written protocols, the way in which a e-waste needs to be disposed of. So they will take all those measures because they are harmful for the environment, and taking those measures is important. Right? Next, please. Compliances and regulations we need to follow. SAIL also has an IT security policy, which is available at the SAIL corporate website. It gives all the details about what we are supposed to be doing. We can take it from there. And we also, India has an IT Act. There is a new act which has come up, which is the DPDP Act, Digital Personal Data Protection Act, where organizations as well as individuals are going to be affected by that act. How my personal data is going to be kept by various service providers, whether it's a Swiggy or it's a Mintra or it is a bank, how they're supposed to store my data. The government is coming up in a big way. It's available on the internet. We can all go through that. But I think we should be aware of it. It's called the Digital Personal Data Protection Act. We can all go through that. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Yes.
मैम ऑनलाइन ट्रांजैक्शन में हम लोग वी आर अलाउइंग फॉर ऑटोमेटिक रीडिंग ऑफ द OTPs. How safe it is?
No automatic reading of the OTP. Please enter the OTP yourself. It's a good idea to do that. Otherwise, because if you do automatic reading, somebody can pick it up while the transaction is happening. If somebody has cloned your phone, so they will be able to utilize this particular OTP also. So this is all something that we do for our convenience. We have not had a single incident till date, so we think it is safe. But if we want to be really, really safe, we should not be using it. But for small time transactions, you're buying food, you're buying something small on Amazon, it's okay. It's convenient to us, it's quicker for us. But in the long run, for large monetary amounts, it's always avoidable.
Ma'am, how safe it is to use pirate softwares like MS Office and all?
Pirated is not a good idea again because they'll be vulnerable. They are
So
not
what is the
updated
what
softwares.
is our
So
policy
some
for that, ma'am?
for sale does not. It's written in the as a part of the sale IT security policy also that any kind of software which is not genuine should not be used within sale.
Do we have any plan where we are going to procure this software centrally for all the plants and all?
I think right now software meaning MS Office. As
Yes,
of now,
ma'am.
immediately
365.
there's no plan. Although the thought process is there that we should be doing all procurement centrally, but immediately there is no such plan. As of now, location-wise procurement is happening.
Yes. Do we have any more questions? So in that
मैम
case, yes, please.
मैम आपने जो प्रेजेंटेशन दिया उसमें जस्ट एक थोड़ा जिस्ट के टाइप से मैं जानना चाहूंगा कि मैं अभी मान लीजिए मेरा पीसी है ऑफिस का या फिर घर का लैपटॉप है या फिर मेरा जो मोबाइल फोन है इसमें मैं ऐसा अभी क्या देखूं कि मुझे पता चले कि मैं वल्नरेबल नहीं हूँ राइट नाउ अटैक्स से मतलब कहाँ कहाँ पर चेक करना चाहिए मुझे अभी
जो हमने सारा लिखा है उसमें एक आप अपना ब्राउजर का प्राइवेसी सेटिंग्स देखिए, एक आप देखिए आप लेटेस्ट सॉफ्टवेयर है कि नहीं, इज इट कंप्लीटली
हम्म,
अपडेटेड, योर एंटीवायरस, द ब्राउजर, द ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, what antivirus you're using, you should be careful about that. Then other thing is something to do with browsing itself. These are activities that you need to do on a day to day basis. जब मैं ब्राउज कर रही हूँ तो मैं क्लिक नहीं करूँ जहां पर मुझे क्लिक नहीं करना है. Should not be downloading any kind of software till I need it, till it is coming from a secure site. So you should always go to that site if you're downloading something and click on the site available, click on the link available on the site rather than a link which is sent to you through an email or an SMS. So other
मैम
than
मेरा 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 मैम इसमें थोड़ा सा एक क्वेश्चन है इसमें कि मैं जानना चाह रहा हूँ कि मैं कैसे पता करूँ कि मैं ऑलरेडी एक्सपोज्ड नहीं हूँ राइट नाउ अब आगे का जो है वो तो ठीक है मैं आपने जो बताया वो मैं अपने हैबिट में डालूंगा जो ऑलरेडी एक्सपोज्ड हूँ या नहीं हूँ कैसे पता चले और कैसे हटाऊं अगर एक्सपोज हूँ तो कहाँ से
एक
जाके
तो
उसको क्या करना
ऑप्शन
पड़ेगा
ये है जैसे मेरे पासवर्ड्स अगर मैंने सेव किए हुए हैं so you go into your browser and once you go into the security settings for the password वो आपको दिखाता है वहां पर कि so many passwords are compromised. In that case you just change those passwords or you simply delete them. वहां पर compromise की एक list आएगी आपको so that you can delete in the browser settings. So mostly vulnerability happens from the browser itself. Security settings of the browser will make you aware of it.
Actually,
Ma'am,
एक
good
और चीज
evening.
होती है. If you go to Google your email and you see my activity,
ओके
उसमें सब दिखाता है what all apps or what all is having your access and all. तो देख देख के you can remove that.
थैंक यू
Ma'am, good evening. A question tha. Many a time this Google browser they ask whether they can save the password. Should we save the password in the
No,
browser?
madam, it is avoidable to save passwords. But like I think Chandra had also asked this question, that in case I am the only one using that particular device, I know nobody else uses it, and the password is related not to a very, it's not very critical for that website, then I can save it. If let's say it is a password meant for online shopping, so then I can save it because it's difficult to remember so many. But banking passwords, sites where they're going to be personal data is stored, or sites where they're going to be monitoring transactions done, those passwords should not be saved.
Okay, thank you.
सर मैडम एक यूजुअली एक मैसेज आता है लाइक समथिंग कि सपोज आई हैव कंडक्ट ये डन वन ऑनलाइन ट्रांजैक्शन आई गेट वन ओटीपी सो द इमीडिएटली मैसेज या द सजेशंस कम्स you should delete these OTPs. But these OTPs have been created for a specific purpose for a specific transactions. So how it becomes vulnerable for future? I mean, why it becomes vulnerable?
OTP आपको फोन पे आता है ना सर?
हाँ हाँ
तो वो जो OTP है वो आपको वहां पर डालना है अपनी वेबसाइट में टू कंप्लीट द ट्रांजैक्शन.
what I understood that sir wanted to know that whenever the OTP has already been used, should we keep it or should we delete it? Whether
नहीं
deleting it is a
No,
good
it
practice.
does.
फर्क नहीं
It
पड़ता,
doesn't
वो तो
matter.
टाइम फ्रेम होता है ना ओटीपी का, तो आप उसके
But
बाद वो खुद ही वैलिड हो जाएगा। आपको
yes,
कितनी बार
but
रीसेंड करने कहता है ओटीपी, क्योंकि वो उसका एक टाइम लिमिट है, उसके अंदर आपने एंटर नहीं किया तो तभी आपसे रीसेंड भी करवाता है। तो ओटीपी रखे ना रखे वो तो हर टाइम नया जनरेट होता है।
So
that's
you can
understood.
create some space on your mobile phone by just deleting them.
So there
Otherwise,
is
more than that, it doesn't have any significance.
I have a little different take on this, ma'am, because I came across one article wherein OTPs are usually generated by some algorithms. So if somebody is having some access to some 10 to 20 OTPs of your particular website, so if hacker wants, they can reverse engineer. I know it's a long fetched thought, but I came across one article. So whether that is feasible or possible, even in remotest way or not, is that a possibility, ma'am?
Yeah, why not? Because if somebody accesses your phone, picks up all your SMSs, goes through the OTPs, rebuilds the algorithm, then maybe the next couple of OTPs they can build from that.
Yes, yes, that may happen. So for the audience, I have posted one poll on the screen that did you find the input valuable? If so, are you going to talk about it in your next mentor-mentee interactions? It would be kind if you can give your responses. We are kind of running behind the schedule because I had promised you to take only 1 hour from your busy schedule every month, and we are almost taken up that hour. So let me wait for a few seconds to get the responses for the poll, and then we'll close the poll. Okay. So fantastic. So everybody found the input, very valuable, and they are going to talk. I hope so, because it's everything is being done for igniting that interest among the mentors and mentees for discussing among themselves. So I'll take another poll to ask about any topic that is on your mind that you want to have as a part of our next knowledge bite session. So you may feel free to suggest that in the poll itself. Otherwise, what we are going to do, we'll close the session. We'll move towards the closing of the session. I just posted the poll on the screen. If any topic that you'd like to suggest for the next knowledge bite session.
चंद्रा जी, आई थिंक नेक्स्ट टाइम जैसे आईटी सिक्योरिटी जो साइबर सिक्योरिटी पे बात हो रही है, तो ओटी नेटवर्क एंड अदर दिस सिक्योरिटी पर भी एक सेशन लिया जाए। तो
Okay, sir.
क्योंकि
Perfect.
नाउ डेज अभी सेल विल गो डिजिटलाइजेशन प्लेटफॉर्म पे जाएगा
Right.
प्रोसेस एंड ओटी, तो उस पे एक
Okay, definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. We'll try to conduct one operation technology awareness session also in our. Okay. Great. So I'm getting artificial intelligence. Okay. GEM portal, perfect. Sustainable steel making, again, one of the emerging domains. What are IoT and cloud applicability as for HANA? Okay. Okay. As for HANA is even pertinent in view of the initiatives that we are taking. Artificial intelligence must be fantastic. So I've got some ideas about, the interest of our participants, and we'll try to organize the next knowledge bite session among one of these topics based IT practices of private steel plant. Okay, SAP, SRM, okay, fantastic. So I'm seeing some of the technology, because the idea is initially to have the discussions on the emerging topics, emerging technologies among the mentors and mentees, because all the mentees are at a critical decision making position. So the mandate that top management has given the MTI is to drive this reverse mentoring, and in order to sensitize the leaders of the sale among these domains, so that they are more confident, they are more aware about these topics, and whenever the time is right, at least they have the reverse mentors to discuss the same on those topics. Perfect. Okay, so I have got one topic also, how to get training at MTI. So again, for that, I'll you can message me on my inbox, and then I will have a private mentoring session for that. So let me close the public poll result, and great. So, thank you so much, Divya ma'am. Indeed, it was, I can say I was very intrigued with your valuable insights and your valuable inputs. And sincere gratitude to the Punit Sharma sir as well, EDCNIT, and to you, ma'am, who has kindly given the support for making this session successful. At the beginning of the session, as I promised you, SAIL has started a new journey by setting up a SAIL Digital Transformation Division. So you see, the organizational thrust is there on the digital transformation, and we have with us Sri Ved Prakash sir, who is Executive Director SDDT in the SAIL. So sir has kindly given consent to be part of this session, and he has been connected throughout the session. So, sir, we are all eager to hear from you your guiding words before we close this session. Sir, please.
Thank you, Chandra. Good evening to all. Really, it is a very fantastic and elaborative sessions on the basic cyber security arranged by you, MTI, with the C&IT team of the corporate office. So now in a digital world where all activities we are shifting on the digital platform, all business and activities, plant activities. So the threat to the data and our system increase multifold. So to keep pace with the existing setup and the secure and concern for the security, we have to keep pace because the hackers also become the so innovative. So it is very imperative to have the solid or robust cyber security system in our establishment. So equally important is the personal, our own mobile and PCs, laptop security. So this type of session, I think it should be repeated regularly in 2 3 months so that the whole masses can be covered, because here I think the 80 90 people are covered. So it should be repeated in definite intervals. So thanks to the MTI team and the speaker, I don't know the name. Okay, kindly repeat the madam name.
Ma'am, Miss Divya Chadda, she General Manager, CNIT.
Divya Chadda, madam, and her team. So I thanks to them. So, okay, Chandra, continue.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much to all the esteemed reverse mentees, executive directors, and chief general managers for taking out the time from your busy schedule and being part of this brief session. I hope it was beneficial and ignited some interest to take it further. Sir, Tanu, sir, would you like to add anything before we close this session, sir?
Only one request I like to make to these mentor, especially. I know in the reverse mentoring, it's a real challenge because all senior people you are going to do the mentoring. So only thing is that it is basically we need to have a empathize for the people. So empathy has to be placed in thing so that accordingly we can schedule the interaction. So especially the people who are in the works area, so evening time is the best time, to get the availability of the mentee who are at senior level. So like that, so that empathy part we need to take care, and once we empathize for each other, we can take this reverse mentoring process forward. And definitely, as Ved Prakash Sahab has mentioned and Chanda also mentioned, that this is the need of the organization. So, and it's a new way of doing the mentoring. Earlier times, it was a just mentoring, this forward mentoring we say, right? But there is a change in the different area, even in our organization also. So to cater this change, this reverse mentoring should be a very good tool for getting update on the emerging technology. So that is the only request I like to have, and I'm sure that all the mentee, they will have a full, they will give a full support to the young mentor. And in the process, this reverse mentoring, I'm sure that we will have a great success in this reverse mentoring process. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. So kindly save the date for your next Knowledge Byte session. That is 4th of November at 4 p.m. That is first Saturday of every month. Like promised, we'll do 1 hour of brief session. Thank you, everyone, for your kind time. You may please disconnect. Thank you very much.
Thank you.